Check on Twitter. I got one. It says, joined your next mock. Have been going Cargo, Longo, Stanton at 6 and mocks myself. All right. Well, this is another one of our writers, Justin R. Klein, and he's given me the go-ahead on the team that I've drafted. I appreciate that, Justin. We'll see if this next one can be a little bit more exciting, maybe throw some more curveballs into my draft strategy. I don't mind where it's gone since then either with Pujols and Bautista. A lot of this has to do with the ESPN rankings and the fact that we have so many auto-drafters, the team I've been able to draft. If you draft on a different site or just in a home league and like in a room with your buddies, the way that people value and rank players is going to be drastically different because you're going to have people pulling their list of players from a bunch of different sources, whether it's your ESPNs, your Yahoos, your fake baseballs. Every set of rankings is going to influence that drafter in various different ways. Let's see. So I think we're kind of on track here to wind up with Carpenter as a second baseman and Segura as a shortstop. With that said, I wouldn't mind if I missed out on Carpenter and just had to take Segura here. I think that's a fine value. And if that were the case, I would turn my next pick probably just to a pitcher. But if I could lock up just a quality offensive base with my first, what would this be, 7 picks, I feel pretty good about that. I don't mind waiting until the 8th or even 9th round to grab my first pitcher. There's a lot of value to be had in those middle rounds and late rounds. And I tend to be a streaming advocate when it comes to starters, especially in a daily league, at least at the point of the draft, where a lot can still go wrong with a draft, and you know you're going to drop a lot of your players anyway, so why not take all that risk on the pitching side, where streaming is a lot easier than on the hitting side, where, you know, streaming batters is a little tougher, I think, because you don't get as much control over opponents. It's just a lot more work, honestly. So yeah, back to us here. Carpenter and Segura both still available. I think I might even have Segura ranked higher than Carpenter in my rankings. But with that said, because Carpenter's ranked higher here, he's the pick I'm going to make, because I expect Segura more likely to wheel to me in the 7th round. We heard that sound for this other draft that's firing, so I'm going to put myself on auto pick in this first one, see if Segura makes it to me when they email me the results of this afterwards, and we're going to go draft a different team here. Let's see, where is the auto pick button? There it is. Alright, switching over right now. Check in on the Twitter and the mock draft here, or the message board. Nothing going on in the chat, still 2 viewers. You guys are great. Maybe if I have enough of these go up on the site with the archive footage, we'll start to get some more viewers live in the moment. I'd like to encourage interaction, questions, answers, suggestions from you guys, the viewers, on who you would take in certain spots. Let's see. So I'm here at the 5th spot again. Justin is drafting just ahead of me at 4. That should be interesting. Maybe him and I can have a little bit of a dialogue going on as far as what we're thinking at each point in the draft. So picking 5 again, the plan is similar. If one of the quote-unquote big 4 slide to me here, Trout, Cabrera, McCutchen, Goldschmidt, I would just jump on that right away. Cargo, I think, is the guy I have ranked next. And actually, to be fair, we can just check with my rankings here on the mothership. Let's see. Yeah, I have Cargo, Jones, Chris Davis as my top 30 right now. You should be able to see that on the left side of your screen. I kind of forgot that was up there because I'm not looking at it right now. Anyway, 30 seconds to go here. One of the biggest questions I have coming into this draft season, beyond, I guess, what I would agree is kind of a consensus top 4 players to be taken, is who you do take 5, and just in general how you value Chris Davis versus the top outfielders, Carlos Gonzalez and Adam Jones. Those are the guys I have ranked highest, at least. They have Ellsbury 7, which again, just seems insane to me. Oh, turn the sound off on that, please. But, yeah, I think part of the reason I'm still leaning Gonzalez is, one, because I do think first base is a little deeper than outfield. Even considering the fact that in most leagues you will have to fill a first base and corner infield spot, and your utility will often be a first base eligible player. In a league like this, you still have to fill 5 outfield spots as well, and there generally are more outfielders available. But as far as outfielders with a lot of pop, Chris Davis has an insane amount of pop, don't get me wrong. But I feel like you can get closer to those numbers with other first base candidates than you can get to Gonzalez-type rates, high batting average, lots of stolen bases, lots of home runs, and RBI. Just basically the total package. You know, it's the same argument for Mike Trout over Miguel Cabrera. That's why I'm taking Cargo over Chris Davis and Adam Jones as well, to be honest. I don't think that taking Davis is wrong necessarily, especially if you feel more confident about getting an outfielder in the second round, like a guy like Puig or what's his name, Harper. But ooh, look at that, Juan Uribe first overall. Someone is playing games. Well, I just got rid of one draft to try and find a more realistic experience, and I did not find it here. But with that said, we'll try to ignore this joker and act as if I have 4th pick here. Cabrera, Trout, McCutchen. I'll take Goldschmidt. And Goldschmidt, well, while I was just making the case of Gonzalez over Chris Davis, the case for Goldschmidt over Gonzalez is that you don't give up as much, if anything, in batting average, and you actually still have some speed upside with Goldschmidt, and that's why I think he gets the nod in that scenario. Juan Uribe, wow, just monkey wrench after monkey wrench today. That's the real problem with these mock drafts more than anything, is that there's nothing on the line, there's no season to play out, there's no pride on the line even, it's just a time waster, and some people use it to waste your time. If you're trying to actually, you know, build your skill set of drafting for 2014 in fantasy baseball, someone taking Juan Uribe first overall isn't really helping you in that regard at all. That is, yeah, just annoying to say the least. Check in on the stream here again. 2 viewers. Hanging tough. I will acknowledge there's a delay between what I say and what goes up on the screen for you, the viewer. So if you have any questions and you feel like I'm not going to get to them or I'm not getting to them, it's because of that delay. Well, we're right back to where we started. 3 auto drafters before the second round has even begun. Fantastic. We might just not be able to get a quality response in the afternoon/evening on a Friday when most people would rather be doing other things than drafting, but we'll stick with this one for a while as well, just to see how the first couple rounds play out. We've already made one alteration, getting Goldschmidt in the first round, so we can see how that affects round 2, round 3, etc. With that in mind, outfielder is what I'm looking at here for my second pick. It's a while before I come up, but the same guys I was talking about in the last draft, I'm still looking at here. I'm looking at Puig, Braun, Adam Jones, if he makes it back, would be great. Bryce Harper, who I think is still available, yes. And with that said, I wouldn't mind taking Longoria again in the second round because I still have that third base spot available, and as you saw in the first draft here, there are a lot of outfielders in rounds 3 and 4 that I could likely land and enjoy having on my roster. The Jay Bruces, the Justin Uptons, the Jose Bautistas, etc. So 2 picks up before I am selecting here, and you know, my fake baseball teammate is drafting twice between me, and he told me on Twitter that he has been starting off his drafts Cargo, then Longoria, then Stanton. So I probably won't be able to do that again here, and that's something I need to keep in mind with this pick. Now, The question here comes down to Carlos Gomez or Evan Longoria. And, you know, I think I just talked myself into the Longoria pick, again, based upon which outfielders I can expect to see in the 3rd round and maybe even the 4th round to come back to me. Whereas, well, Gomez is good, and I'd much rather have Gomez in the 2nd round than Jacoby Ellsbury in the 1st round. I think that Longoria is just a better fit for the plan that I want to try and enact here. Someone else tweeted me while we were waiting there. Let's check in here. Oh, just Justin spreading the word. Thank you, Justin. Let's check in again with the fake baseball rankings here. Back at outfield. Gomez is my number 7 guy. I have him ahead of Puig, behind Braun, and I think Braun was gone at that point. He was, as was Harper, who I think I have also ranked higher. I have Harper at 5. So if I were to take an outfielder there, the guy at the top of my rankings would have been Gomez. With that said, I don't think you can go wrong with a guy like Puig or a guy like Stanton. It's just the stats you get from each of those guys is different, or the stats are different, excuse my terrible English, and you need to kind of shape all of your subsequent picks based upon that. So if I take Gomez over Stanton, I'm saying, okay, I'm taking this many stolen bases, kind of banking on those from this player. I'm going to need to get that super big power source somewhere else, and then maybe that's where you target a guy like Jay Bruce or Jose Bautista. One pick up before I am back on the clock here, and Puig is still available. I think he's the guy I would take in this case. Justin might just be waiting the length of his pick to see who I'm going to take. Other names on my radar here are Stanton and, like I said, Upton and Bautista and Bruce. So I'll order them according to my rankings. He just selected Stanton, so I'm going to jump on Puig, and yeah, we're off to the races. And the entire second half of our draft is auto-picking. Fantastic. Well, this might be a short-lived experiment for today, people. Justin, I appreciate you tuning in and jumping in this draft with me, but I think we can all agree that this is not the best use of our time. But with that said, it'll keep the video nice and sweet, short and sweet, excuse me, for the archived footage up on the website. Hopefully, if you're checking that out now, as you hear me talking, you'll tune in live for the next draft and maybe even join the draft with me. I'd love to get in a couple of these with real people, listeners or viewers and readers alike. So yeah, stay tuned to my Twitter at Greg Sauce on there, and I'll tweet out. I'll probably try to give more notice the next time I do this. Maybe we'll shoot for a mock draft Monday, as I've heard it referred to in many different places. So yeah, we'll take a look at who comes back to me here with this next pick. I think without a doubt I would take Bautista or Upton given the opportunity. And I mean, maybe for mock draft's sake, we could have looked at a team where I draft a pitcher here. I take Bumgarner, I take Fernandez. But with that said, I think we're better served just kind of calling it a day here and closing down the stream. But again, thank you for tuning in. Thanks to Justin Klein, and we'll catch you next time streaming for thefakebaseball.com. My name has been Greg Smith. I appreciate you viewing. Have a good one.